In a world that constantly pushes the idea of positivity, it's easy to feel like you're failing if you experience negative emotions. We are often told to look on the bright side, stay strong, or be grateful for what we have. While these words may be well intended, they sometimes dismiss what we are truly feeling. The truth is, you don't have to be positive all the time. It's perfectly okay to feel sad, angry, annoyed, frustrated, scared, or anxious. These emotions are just as natural and valid as happiness and joy. Society tends to glorify resilience and optimism, often portraying negative emotions as weaknesses. But feeling deeply is part of the human experience. No one can be happy 100% of the time, and pretending otherwise can be exhausting. When we suppress our emotions, we don't make them disappear. Instead, they build up, sometimes manifesting as stress, anxiety, or even physical illness. It's not a weakness to admit that you're struggling. It's honesty. There is a misconception that mentally strong people never break down. In reality, true strength is found in self-awareness. It's in recognizing when you need a break, when you need support, and when you need to simply allow yourself to feel without judgment. It takes courage to sit with discomfort instead of pushing it away. When we acknowledge our emotions rather than avoid them, we give ourselves the opportunity to process and heal. Think about the last time you were frustrated or angry. Maybe someone let you down, maybe things didn't go as planned, or maybe you were overwhelmed with responsibilities. Instead of forcing yourself to get over it, what if you allowed yourself to fully experience that frustration? What if you let yourself be honest about what was bothering you? Often, our emotions are signals, messages from our mind and body telling us something isn't right. Ignoring them doesn't make them go away, listening to them helps us understand ourselves better. Feeling sad is not a sign of failure. Life is unpredictable, and we all go through difficult moments. Losing someone you love, facing rejection, and experiencing disappointment, these are all painful but normal parts of life. You don't need to pretend to be okay when you're not. You don't need to force a smile when your heart is heavy. Grieving, crying, and expressing sadness are not things to be ashamed of. They are proof that you care, that you feel, and that you are human. There's this idea that happiness is the ultimate goal, but what if we shifted our perspective? What if instead of striving for constant positivity, we aimed for emotional balance? What if we accepted that sadness, anger, and fear are as much a part of life as joy and love? True emotional well-being isn't about eliminating negative emotions, it's about learning to coexist with them in a healthy way. Think of emotions like the weather. Some days are sunny and warm, while others are stormy and cold. Just as we don't expect every day to be perfect weather, we shouldn't expect ourselves to always be in a good mood. Rainy days serve a purpose, just as sadness and frustration do. They teach us, they remind us of what's important, and they make the brighter days feel even more meaningful. Anxiety is another emotion that many people struggle with. It can make even simple tasks feel overwhelming. Sometimes, anxiety is triggered by specific situations, and other times, it appears out of nowhere. But instead of criticizing yourself for feeling anxious, try to see it as your mind's way of trying to protect you. Your brain is wired to detect potential dangers, and sometimes, it overreacts. Instead of fighting anxiety, acknowledge it. Tell yourself, I am feeling anxious right now, and that's okay. This feeling will pass. We often think of emotions in black and white, good versus bad. But emotions are not enemies. They are teachers. Sadness shows us what we care about. Anger reveals our boundaries. Fear prepares us for potential risks. Frustration pushes us to seek solutions. Every emotion has value, and none of them define our worth. Unfortunately, many of us grew up in environments where expressing emotions was discouraged. We were told not to cry, not to complain, not to make a big deal out of things. Over time, we learned to suppress our feelings, to keep them locked away. But emotions don't disappear just because we ignore them. They find other ways to show up through stress, burnout, or even physical symptoms like headaches and exhaustion. Suppressing emotions is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can push it down for a while, but eventually, it will pop back up, often with more force than before. Instead of burying your emotions, allow yourself to feel them. Write about them, talk to someone you trust, or simply sit with them without judgment. It's important to remember that no emotion is permanent. Just as happiness fades, so do sadness and anger. Feelings come and go like waves, and resisting them only makes them stronger. Instead of fearing your emotions, try to observe them. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Another harmful belief is that expressing negative emotions makes us a burden to others. Many people feel guilty for sharing their struggles, worried that they will be seen as weak or dramatic. But the people who truly care about you want to know how you feel. You are not a burden for having emotions. You are not difficult for needing support. Real relationships are built on honesty, and that includes sharing the not-so-happy moments. Self-compassion is crucial when dealing with difficult emotions. Imagine how you would comfort a close friend who was feeling sad or anxious. You wouldn't tell them to just get over it. You wouldn't shame them for struggling. Instead, you would offer kindness and understanding. Now, try extending that same compassion to yourself. Talk to yourself as you would to a friend. Instead of saying, "I shouldn't feel this way," say, "It's okay that I feel this way." One of the best ways to manage emotions is through mindfulness. Being present in the moment allows us to experience emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. Try deep breathing, meditation, or simply paying attention to your surroundings. When negative thoughts arise, acknowledge them but don't let them take over. Say to yourself, "I see this thought, but I don't have to believe it." Another helpful practice is journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you process them in a healthy way. It allows you to reflect, gain clarity, and sometimes even find solutions. If you don't like writing, try voice notes or talking out loud to yourself. Expressing your emotions in any form is a step toward healing. Physical activity also plays a role in emotional health. Movement helps release tension and can improve mood. It doesn't have to be intense exercise, even a short walk can make a difference. Connecting with nature, listening to music, or engaging in a creative hobby can also help you navigate emotions. Seeking support is not a sign of weakness. Talking to a therapist, friend, or family member can help you feel less alone. Sometimes, simply knowing that someone understands can bring relief. You don't have to go through difficult emotions alone. Ultimately, the goal isn't to eliminate negative emotions but to learn how to move through them with grace. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to be human. You don't need to be positive all the time, and you don't need to have all the answers. What matters is that you honor your emotions, take care of yourself, and remember that every feeling is temporary. You are stronger than you think, and you are worthy of love and understanding, no matter what emotions you experience.